Okay, so happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. We're back for another W3, Weed Womxn Wednesday. And we're here this time having a bubble bath with your MJB Mage, Jessie Macpherson, having a mimosa that I have spiked with a little bit of chronic nut tincture. What have you spiked yours with? What drink are you having today?
I have spiked mine with Glamanda's Night Flight to Venus. It's gorgeous, it's cinnamony and warm and tasteful, and helps you get over that rough day. So
nice. Okay, so we have our infused cocktails ready. We're ready to get into it. What is Weed Womxn Wednesday? We're honoring women's contribution to the cannabis history through the lens of the tarot. Okay, who is this for? This is for the weedy history buff like you and I who like to get educated as well as elevated for the make weed grind. And what better way to do it than having a nice bath to soothe us down. Okay, we don't have to wait for the weekend, wait for the Friday, wait for that 6 o'clock wind down. Okay, it's about anytime is weed time. So I want to introduce you guys to MJB Mage Jessie. She is your Vancouver witch, tarot reader, writer extraordinaire, fighting stage 2 cancer since November 2019. Okay, now she's had a partial mastectomy and is undergoing 4 months of chemo. So during this time, you know what, we want to raise awareness for her GoFundMe simply due to the fact that these are trying and hard times. But in this, we have come up with a really fun way to be expressive about our love for the plant through just what we do. And yeah, so Jessie, take it off. We're going to do with tarot, right?
Okay, and I'd like to introduce the MJB Queen Bee, the founder of Fem 420, and my dear friend Cindy. So I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad to be here for another Wednesday. So shall we kick things off with an affirmation?
Let's kick things off with an affirmation. I've got my steam ducky ready.
Ooh, cute. Hey. Ooh. Surround yourself with high vibe honeys.
Okay.
Always a good one, Danette. And that's from the Bad Bitch Affirmations deck by Gabriella Rosie. She's awesome.
Very cool. Nothing wrong with starting your weekend, midday with the Gabbies. Okay.
Oh yes.
And so with that card, tell us more about which tarot are we pulling today?
Let's see. Well, today we are focusing on the Queen of Cups, and she is about emotion and being able to work with your emotion and make it work for you, and also being really in touch with that down deep intuitiveness that we all feel. And the Queen of Cups is also really artistic and sees things that other people don't. So who would be a better guest for W3 than Frida Kahlo?
Ooh, going with Frida. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me. I never knew that Frida was a weedy woman. So tell me more about Frida.
Oh, Frida is amazing. Some people think she was Instagram before Instagram happened because of her love of selfies. But she was a prominent Mexican painter. She was born in 1907 in Mexico City to a German immigrant father and a Hispanic and indigenous mother. So one of the themes that always showed up in her work was a lot of identity and trying to figure out where she fit, and using that to lift her up and support her. She had chronic health issues before when she was a child because she had polio, so she had that to deal with, and she started drawing at a very young age. She was really into it, really enjoyed it, was kind of doing traditional stuff at that point since she was learning. And she was actually looking into going to medical school. So you'll see this. Yeah. It's part of the reason she got interested in like the human body and things it could do and medicine and things like that. So she was cruising along, getting ready to go to medical school, and then something happened that changed her life forever. She was in a really bad trolley and bus accident in Mexico City, and she survived. It was a really rough ride, but she survived. And she was yes, yes. I wasn't sure how far to go with this, but a pole went through her. So this was an actually really difficult thing. So it was really impressive that she survived. And one of the things she had to do for 3 months was have bed rest. So basically her family set her up with an easel and a mirror so she could paint. And that's when she started really, really opening up and getting into her intuition and creating art that was like her. So that, and it also, and the mental, it affected her entire life because it had PTSD issues and chronic pain issues and stuff that's very contemporary for us to deal with, that she wound up putting in her art. And I think that's one of the reasons, especially women, respond to it so much, because there's so much of our experience and so much of that inner life. And let's see, now to get to the cannabis, from what we know.
Yes. How did
Yes,
she
wound up marrying Diego Rivera, and they had a very complicated relationship. However, Diego for sure liked to smoke weed. Rumor has it that he actually smoked Errol Flynn out by saying, "Here, if you have this, you'll be able to hear this painting." It apparently worked. So
okay.
So we know that for sure, and we know that Frida liked to smoke as well. And there's a couple pictures of her smoking. And one of the reasons I think she got into it is because, like with us, it's a natural plant medicine. And part of her work involved kind of reaching back into the part of her that was indigenous and getting back into that traditional lifestyle. She often wore peasant dresses to kind of identify herself with the people, and also because she was communist. Yeah. And so it was a political statement, and it was a practical statement as well, because the clothes she wore kind of helped her deal with her disability. And as far as natural medicine, that's where the cannabis came in. A lot of times she used it for inspiration, or to deal with the pain. I mean, my instinct is that, she had chronic pain, and this was one way to deal with it in a way that was helpful, and she could access herself and kind of fit in with her whole aesthetic and what she was doing.
Yeah. At the same time, though, I mean, I probably wait till afterwards, but ode to Frida. We've got ourselves a nice little roll joint here, a nice these cones by Sec. I found a little rose soap rosy to kind of hold it in so it doesn't go down. Right. Okay. Ooh, it's kind of waterproof. That's good. Okay, so.
And I've got
the weed saved. The weed is saved. So okay, I've got I'm gonna leave it on my laptop. The weed was saved. Okay.
Thank goodness.
All right. So we've met a really cool woman who, because of the tragic events that have happened in her life, she was introduced to cannabis first and foremost to cope with her pain. But through that, she got really creative, right? It was her version of self-care.
Yes.
Right. And I think that's the thing that, I want to bring this around in the idea that we've looked at cannabis now as a way to connect with community. We've looked at a way as it to, connect medicinally to it, how it can help us, especially for you as well, Jessie, in your journey.
Oh, yes.
But we really wanted to explore, the idea of self-care through creativity, right? And how creative is it that we got into a bathtub to get, talking about Frida. And she even has a really what is the artwork called again? Like she did one where she's like floating in a bathtub.
Yeah, like she's totally a stoner girl. She did a bathtub selfie. It's called What the Water Gave Me, and I believe she painted it when she was in Detroit. So it was kind of her taking in all the experiences of the U.S. and kind of longing for her homeland and trying to work these things together, and also just taking time to have a bath because, God knows your husband's painting murals and you're probably really stressed out and in a little pain. So, you know, there you go.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. So, you know, this is, it's, how can I put this? It's us taking a bath. It is about empathy for ourselves, right?
Oh, yes.
It's about how hard things can be. And as soon as I always find this, like when I step outside of the washroom, I've got a million things I've got to do. And this is like my time, you know, light myself a black candle.
Yeah.
I even sometimes just in the tub, I brought my Miss Envy coconut oil just in case, you know, I gotta rub myself down. But yeah, this is like my time. And I swear when I sit here, I start to, like, all the decisions I need to make also involve needing to be super creative, and I can't. There's a roadblock. But when I'm sitting here and I breathe and I think about things, just slow down.
Yeah.
Especially since the tinctures I pre-drink, so it's really starting to seep in. I'm starting to really feel it, and this is the time where the ideas really start to flow. Right? They splash around. The bubbles. I look at the bubbles, and as the bubbles are like starting to, you know, debubble from me, new ideas are popping up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
that's my take.
Yeah, and I think that cannabis helps us get into that artistic liminal space, kind of like Frida does, because, I mean, we all, even if we're famous artists or if we're not, we all need that spark of creativity. And one of the things you brought up that's really important with self-care is having time, you know, just having an uninterrupted little bit of time that's just for you and can help your brain work.
Yeah.
It's a refresher. It helps with your intuition. And I always find that I tend to read better after I've just been hanging out in the tub for a little bit. Because I like to think you're getting in touch with those emotions and in that liminal space. It's really nice.
It is really nice. Actually, that's the one thing. It's like, what book are you going to read after we get out of the tub?
Oh, let's see. I've got some poetry by Francesca Leah Block that I think I'm going to hit. I think that sounds like fun.
Nice. Any recommendations you can make for me?
Oh, well, let's see. Her poetry book is great. It's called Fairy Tales in Electricity, and it's fairy tale poetry that takes place in LA. And actually, she wrote a fantastic book about Frida and the creative process called The Thorn Necklace.
Ah, okay. What is that about?
Well, it's based on one of Frida's paintings, and this is the one where she's got like thorns all over her and some birds. And it's kind of about transforming your pain into art. And that's something that I think is really important to Frida. I mean, as women, try not to be difficult with us, but we deal with a lot of pain from all the stuff, from our physical issues to having to deal with microaggressions and things like that. There's always a little bit of pain. But what matters is, kind of like Frida, taking that and transmuting it and turning that piece of grit and that piece of really upsetting stuff into a pearl. And that's what we do with creativity and cannabis.
Like really like take all of that vent up energy and focus it on something that is for you, and very like the fiery you coming out in a very concentrated kind of way and focused kind of way. I love that. Okay, so I want to come back to this. I want to round up, you know, really great bath time conversation with you today, Jessie.
Oh, great with you.
I mean, this is how we do it. This is, in a way, this is going to help me, you know, regulate my emotional creativity when I leave. I just want to, again, I want to bring it back to your GoFundMe. It is something that if anyone is interested, they can definitely check it out. We have it on the Mary Jane Brunch Instagram. Click on the link tree. It's, you know, help Jessie hex her cancer. You can also reach out to Jessie through her Instagram account. You can even do a trade, you know, like a tarot reading with her. In exchange, all those proceeds are helping her be able to sustain herself through this time. Okay, looks like I'm getting wrinkly. You're probably getting wrinkly.
Shall I draw us a card for the week ahead?
Yeah, let's finish it off with the power of 3, okay?
Alrighty, let's see. So
This one.
okay. So for this week we have the 2 of Swords, and that's kind of about being able. This is kind of the foundation. It's about being able to make decisions, being able to say yes or being able to say no to things with a full spirit. Like this is about these saying yes when it's a hell yes. And
Hells yes.
Exactly. So if we're going to be doing that, then we get the High Priestess. The High Priestess is about sitting in our power and in our intuition and being in touch with all the parts of ourselves that we need to. So the nice thing is she's just sitting there. She's not chasing the pillars. She's not running around. She's just sitting there being chill, ready for anything because she is secure. Yes. And what's coming up? The Knight of Pentacles. So this week, folks, keep an eye out for some potential money-making prospects. Keep an eye out for a new creative opportunity, something that's going to really help you walk on this earth. And the thing I like with the Knight of Pentacles is that you're doing it with honor and grace. So much like Frida, keep those ideas coming, and eventually they're going to pay off for you.
Okay. Nice. Thank you, MJB Mage. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Hanging out with you on Wednesday. Let's toast again. I'm gonna finish off, like when I get out, I like to have a little sweetness, something sweet. So
yes.
I dug up and I found a sample pack of the butterfly maple chocolate. So I'm gonna take a little nibble of this, not in the tub because obviously I already dropped my joint in. I really don't want to drop chocolate. We don't need to have a chocolate bubble bath today. Do you ever end off with something sweet?
I sure do. I have a Products by Set gummy. It's one of their high C's, and they're absolutely delish, and they kind of went with the water theme.
Cool. Okay. All right. This is great. Well, again, happy hump day. Thank you so much. Until the next W3. Okay? Take care. Bye.